Alright guys, so today I'm gonna make another video. I've made one before on making a cracky hydroponic system, but it wasn't a very good video. So first thing, you're gonna have to pick your container, and my advice through experience would be get a good container. Don't pick a cheap container. And you don't need something that has a ton of depth to it. You can see how deep this one is. I got two of them stacked here. It's not very deep. This is perfect. It's easy to move around. It's it's not too big. When you get the taller ones, when you fill them up with water, the sides will really start to buckle and it'll be hard to keep the lid on. These ones I like these little latchable ends here. It's kind of fancy. And it's black. It's just a good container. This is the thing, you got to think about when you buy these containers. You're never going to need to buy them again. These things are going to last forever. So, spend a couple extra dollars and get a good container. And as far as the rest of it goes, all you really need is a way to cut your holes out for your net cups. And there's a couple different options. You can get a hole saw. Most of the time, most hole saw blades are pretty expensive, and that's just a round blade that'll cut a perfect circle in here, and you just get it to the size of your net cup, and so you cut it and put it in there. But like I said, most hole saws are pretty expensive. A lot of people don't have them. So I'm not going to do that today. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this drill bit here, this bit for wood. And it doesn't have to be a big one like this. This is just what I had laying around. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to make a hole. And we got to make a hole big enough that we can start cutting with these. And so basically this is going to give us a good starting point, and then we're just going to trim around the edge until we get a good solid fit on our net cup, which with this blade that I have, it shouldn't be too much. We have to take off more, but essentially you could do the same thing with a smaller bit. You just figure out where you want the center of your net cup to be, and then you're just going to drill a hole and then cut out the circle with your snips. So we're going to go ahead and do that next. And this container is going to have 6 of these. You can try to fit 8. You can do 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can do it like that, and then try to fit 2 more in the middle somewhere. But it's going to be too crowded depending on what you plant. But pretty much anything, maybe besides lettuce or some kind of leafy green might work out. But it's going to be too crowded. I would suggest you just, for a container this size, you just do 6. And even that might be a little crowded for some plants. So you might consider just doing 4. It's up to you. So we're going to go ahead and get to drilling here. So there's that. We got our holes cut for our net cups. Fit in there. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be a loose fit. Doesn't have to be a tight fit. Whatever works. You want to kind of sneak up on it. You know, cut around and then see if it fits. Cut a little more off. Another option that you can go with is you can get a scrap piece of cardboard and get a circle cut in it that fits this perfectly, and use that as a template to mark your holes that you want to and how far you want to cut, if you don't want to go through the trouble of having to snip some stuff off 2 or 3 times. But it's not a big deal. It was pretty easy. It didn't take very long. And next, what we're going to do is we'll get the plastic and stuff cleaned out of here, and then we'll start filling it with nutrients, and then we're going to try to transplant some plants in here. Alright, so we got her filled with water. I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see this, but you want it to touch, you want it to be above the bottom of the net cup, the water level. That way you've got roots that are going to be coming in contact with the water. And then in the space here between where the water starts and the top of the container is where it'll develop its roots for air, because the water is not going to be oxygenated. This is just a standalone cracky system. So it does need, you know, some space there for the roots to get air, but you also need to make sure that they're coming in contact with the water. So you get the water level just above the net cup, and then the next thing we'll do is we'll take some of our nutrients. I'm using Maxi Bloom. They got Maxi Grow too. I just go ahead and use Maxi Bloom. Windy. So we'll mix the nutrients up, and then we'll get to transplanting our plants. So there you go. This is somewhat of a different method that I've done previously, and it's a lot different than I see a lot of people do it, but I think I just want to see how well it works out. Typically you'll see them start seeds in something like a Rockwell cube, like this. And they'll grow them into plants, and that's what these are. Probably hard to tell, but it's a Rockwell cube in there. There's no dirt in this container. But every time I try to transplant bigger plants, and I wash the roots off, and then I put it in there with, you know, some Hydrotin or a Rockwell cube or something like that. I just have a lot of limited success with that. So what I've been trying to do here lately is I'm just leaving it in the dirt and putting it in that way. So we'll see. The thing about having these smaller net cups is it's kind of hard with these seedlings that I have, or, you know, because they're you know, they don't really quite fit in there. So I wet them down before I put them in there, and I tried to knock some of the dirt off just a little bit. You can see in the video I was knocking a little bit of the dirt off and then just giving it a good press down into the bottom to make sure that we make it, you know, down to the bottom of the net cup to where it's touching the water. So I think it's going to work out, but we'll see. We shall see. But there you go. We mixed up our nutrients, and all the nutrients that you can buy online. They're going to tell you the instructions. This is 1 to 2 tablespoons per gallon, or teaspoons per gallon, sorry. And we mix that in there, and then, like I said, we just stuck our plants in here. And you just want to maintain your level of water until you get a good root system. Because if your water drops too low, which there's a good chance that it will, because our greenhouse has got really high temperatures and there's a good chance for a lot of evaporation. But when you lose that too fast, and you end up with the roots not touching the water at all, then your plant's going to die. But once you can see my big tomato plant here that I'm growing. You can see once you get a good big root system like this, then you have a little bit more leeway, and you don't have to completely submerge the roots, because like I said, it's going to develop roots that at the top that get air, and then it's going to develop roots down that go into the water. So you want to maintain it close, but it gives you a little bit more room for error. And then stuff like lettuce, like this, you can fill up your container if you're growing lettuce. And typically lettuce is something that'll grow so fast that you'll never have to mess with the level, because as the level goes down, the roots will grow fast enough to keep up with it. So we'll see. Now the thing about using these smaller net cups as opposed to these bigger ones, because these bigger ones I could just take them straight out of the little starter packs, and I could just put them right in. These got dirt in them, and then I just had to backfill with the hydroton to keep the sun from penetrating down into the water. But with these, they're so much smaller. They are harder to fit into the net cup, but I think, you know, we did it relatively easily, and I don't think I've damaged them. Hopefully not. And I don't have to backfill it all with hydrogen because it's completely filled the net cup. So that is something to think about on your net cup sizes. And yeah, I think that's going to be about it for this video. Thanks for watching.